Welcome to the Everything Food Podcast, where we break down the good, the bad, and the ugly of how food shapes our world. Behind the programs that spark curiosity, build problem solvers, and get kids asking the big questions. And today we're talking about how food intersects from kitchen to chemistry to sustainability and to the future of how we eat. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Great.
How are you?
All right. Let's start off with Brian. Who is Brian? Brian Pollard.
How you doing?
How you doing? Just explain to us who you are, what you do at CMC.
So I'm the manager of STEM resources. So I do science programming here at Cincinnati Museum Center. So if you come to the museum and you see science programs happening on the floor or at our science stage, those are the types of programs that I develop and oversee, and also do some training around programs like that. And when we're in our Create Culinary Studio, I also bring in a lot of the science of cooking and of taste sensations and things like that into the recipes that we're developing. So I talk about some of the ingredients, some of the processes, things like that.
All right. And next, we got Aaron McCandless. Now, I destroy names, so forgive me if I say the name wrong.
I'm impressed. That is correct. Erin McCandless. Hi, I'm the Director of Program Development here at the Cincinnati Museum Center. I oversee kind of broad strokes programming throughout all of our galleries and exhibits and get to work very closely with the culinary team. We are the culinary team.
Yes, as they say in basketball, the big three.
Yes. Well, there's actually a fourth, Evan Lewis. He couldn't be with us today.
Okay.
He has some really important things to do.
And Megan Award.
I'm the manager of the Create Culinary. I also do a lot of the leading of the classes and the recipe development in the space as well.
Okay, now when you say create, is this like like PBS and you see the create thingies? Is this the same?
No, different. So the Create Culinary Studio is the space that we're in. So there's some clever branding around it. The EAT in the middle is set off, so it looks like create and eat together. But yeah, the Create Culinary Studio featuring the Kroger Food Lab is where we do our classes and all of our teaching kitchen stuff.
So when it says STEM resources, is STEM like an acronym for something?
So STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. It's sort of the interdisciplinary approach to science that I'd say for about 15 years or so, it's been sort of the way that schools and informal science education centers approach science. So instead of just being a list of facts, we also bring in, have you do math, do some problem solving, use new technology, things like that together as an integrative approach. And so that's an acronym within education that's very popular.
Sounds good. So you would be the person I would talk to if I wanted to use some liquid nitrogen in something.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah, we do relatively regularly use liquid nitrogen within the museum, but also within the Create Culinary Studio.
Right.
Sometimes for things where you like making ice cream very quickly, but we've gotten creative and used it to like cool down cakes so that they're ready for icing in 15 minutes instead of a couple hours.
I'm gonna switch to Aaron. I want to ask a question. So as the program development, is it safe to say that you're kind of involved in the design and the hands-on learning in the educators with the kids?
To some extent, yes. When we first started this program, this culinary studio, before Megan joined our team as the only actual trained chef, we really leaned on our expertise and our experience with kids and how they learn in the museum setting. But yeah, I would say like I'm more kind of behind the scenes supporting some of the administrative stuff because it's a lot of work to bring all of this together so that Megan can really shine when she's recipe developing and doing all the stuff for the class. I do some of the administrative back end stuff just to help her manage that load.
So now we're gonna get Megan in trouble because Megan, how does the hands-on experimentation help students understand nutrition, chemistry, and sustainability?
I mean, science is so naturally woven in cooking. I think that's what actually interested me in cooking in general, was understanding why something was happening, to kind of really understand the concept of a recipe and to be able to kind of plug and play. So through that, Brian is, like he said, the big science piece to this. And so I kind of create these recipes where we might talk about, like last week, we did a gumbo and cornbread recipe. We talked about roux and taking it from a light roux to a really dark chocolatey roux and the science behind that, and how, as you continue to cook your roux, you would almost think that it would thicken even more, when in reality actually loses some of that thickening agent. And so Brian kind of comes in while I'm showing the class how to create this. He comes in and has a fun little fact about it and gets on the mic and kind of talks and breaks it down more than what I can actually break it down into.
Brian, what's the one activity, the STEM activity, that just gets the kids going, just gets them excited? They running and bumping into each other, and it's like they had too much sugar.
Well, sometimes it is too much sugar. So we've made liquid nitrogen ice cream in here before, and that is such a big hit.
Right.
It's incredible to be able to do it. I mean, it takes literally 2 minutes to go from complete liquid ingredients to ice cream. And that, I mean, everyone loves to see that. It's really exciting. It also makes a big, huge cloud of steam and fog when it's happening, so it's really dynamic. So, I mean, yeah, that's one of the things. But in the kitchen, the kids are excited just to be able to be hands-on with whatever it is they're doing. And we've had kids come in here and they've told us, I don't like any of these ingredients, but I like this dish. And so they've had a chance to like make it themselves, and chop things and mix things and watch things happen. And then they try it. They try things that they wouldn't normally try, and they get so excited because they were part of the process.
Back to Megan. Megan, was there ever a moment that when you're training a kid and it's something, you see something click in the kid's mind and you go, they got it?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think to answer that would be more when they come back and they tell me, hey, I took that recipe on a loaded potato soup that we made, and for a Friendsgiving, I recreated it, but then I went and added and I did these different ingredients and I subbed this for that. And for me, that is success, because we taught them confidence to question even our recipes, and then to also, add in things that they wanted to see inside of that recipe. So when I hear that a kid has replicated what we've done in class and then even made it their own, that makes me so happy.
We've had parents come back and tell us that they were, had family vacation get together, and the kid that took our class made breakfast for everyone every day of vacation.
Aaron, what barriers do you see that keep kids, especially in underserved communities, from accessing programs like these?
Say, from what we've seen, transportation and just reaching them is probably the hardest barrier. We have a free teen cooking class that we offer to local teens, and we've been working with groups that directly serve these teens, so the CRCs, other groups that are working there, and they've been helpful in getting the teens to us. But if we don't have someone that can help kind of round them up and bring them to us, there is a real barrier to just getting to the museum. That is what we have seen. So we've expanded some of these classes to our Museums for All families. Museums for All is a program that extends a pretty deep discount for anyone with an EBT or food assistance card. You can go and get a membership, you can get a ticket. And so we're hoping to see an uptick there. But once they get here, they absolutely love it. It's just, I think, just getting here and getting the word out that they can come here to do these classes has been the biggest challenge.
So what is I want to say marketing point, but the attraction? What's the avenues you're using to attract people to come in, students to come in and learn?
Just in general?
Yes.
It just mostly through our marketing. When we put a class up for sale, like we have a junior chef class, which is parents and caregivers and kids. We have a homeschool class. We have adult classes. And we put them on our website. And usually all it takes is one social media post or being on a news segment, and they're sold out the next day. So that has been really wonderful so far.
What is it, a pricing structure?
Yes. So the junior chef classes, I believe, are like $110. Don't quote me on this. And then homeschool classes, I think, are like $35 a class.
And that's the member price, but that's kind of the only relevant price, because usually members are the first to get a hold of it and they sell out before members are done with it.
Okay. Sounds like a good program. I ended up in the museum center. It was an event with Bootsy Collins' wife, Patricia Collins, and a dentist. And I believe we were downstairs, and I didn't have liquid nitrogen ice cream, but it was odd because I didn't think about it till after I got there. Okay, this is Patricia Collins, Mrs. Patricia Collins, and the dentist, and I'm serving ice cream, and everybody lost their mind. They lost their mind. I had a line out the door.
Yes,
and I came in through closing the health gap. It was.
That's right. Yeah, and that was before we had the kitchen open, the TV studio open.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
so
at
you were
that
just
time,
in the Children's Museum.
Yeah, at that time, I believe who was there? Who was the contact? And he was talking about building the program. I think he works for the zoo now.
Jacob.
Yeah. It was Jacob, and then I think we came back for another event, and I came in through Hamilton County Resource, the food waste division.
Yes.
So it was. But the museum center, what you guys doing down there is phenomenal. I want to find some way to wiggle myself back in. So
yes, please.
Keep the door open for me. Another question. I know it's the science. A lot of times food, I'm noticing certain programs and I've been guilty of it. You bring somebody in, you run them through for 12 weeks, and all of a sudden they got certification or chef or something to that effect. I think they missed a lot. A lot of times you miss those, the dishwasher part and the prep part and, the cleaning and the storage and being in order and stuff like that. But your approach is totally different. I love it. And like I say, if anything I could do to help, I want to be a part of it. What are some of the toughest challenges that you face when trying to modernize the STEM education?
Yeah, I mean, in here, a lot of our challenges really are just the complexity of a teaching kitchen itself. It's in a sort of a weird space within how like the county health board thinks of it, for instance. It's not exactly like a kitchen, so it's sort of its own thing. Our own internal insurance, like we had to deal with a bunch of those challenges here too. Right. So a lot of it was just sort of on the administrative end. That was sort of our biggest challenge. We are looking to develop recipes. We can find ways to include this sort of STEM education piece into most of the things we're looking at doing, but timing is always a big challenge, right? If you want to bake bread and the class is only 2 hours long, you got to get really creative on how to make it so that your bread ferments in time and rises in the oven. Right. So a lot of it is those kinds of challenges, but we've been able to find really fun recipes that get kids engaged, doing something a little bit different. We've made pasta in here before. We have pasta rollers, but we've also done hand-pulled noodles, and those are really popular because it's active, and the kids are. We made Beyond noodles, like hand-pulled Chinese noodles, and that's super exciting for the kids. It's the same process, really, as making other kinds of noodles and pasta, but it's so much dynamic because your hands on it. So we're really looking for those kinds of opportunities with our different things. So some of our classes focus on sort of the technique, and some of them focus more on using cooking to teach other things like science, like culture and history, even art that we do in here, using cooking and food as sort of the vehicle to teach these other things. But it's a really fun approach. It's a good challenge to be able to think up how kids are going to be interacting with this and what we can sort of use as a lesson as we're going.
I'll share too. I think a lot of schools don't have home ec any longer. There's like no cooking in school. So even though this is not new, it feels new to a lot of kids. So it's an opportunity for them to do something that maybe they've always wanted to try. So it feels modern, it feels new, even though it's old fashioned in a lot of ways. People have been cooking for a long time, but they don't often get to do that. So we love being a place where they can come and make a mess and learn how to do things safely and learn not just the skills and the science, but the communal part of eating together is really important. Like coming together at the end of the meal, and even if we're not necessarily all talking about the same thing, we're sitting together, and that's really important. And we hope that that's something that they carry with them home when they go back home.
We're constantly trying to put new content out there all the time. I've been told we can repeat some classes, but I'm constantly in recipe development and trying to recreate new things. So we're constantly trying to keep the content fresh and new, especially for our repeat participants who always come. So, you might see a tempeh on the menu one day, and
Whoa.
then you might see, chicken and sausage together on the next. So we're all over the place.
Okay. So what's your approach when you developing a recipe?
Like, why would I pick a recipe?
No, what's your approach when you
My
developing a
approach.
recipe?
So I am somebody who loves to research and read. So I'll read a bunch of different recipes, and then I kind of hodgepodge recipes together. I take things that I like, things that I know when I look at a recipe can't be true or won't yield what I think would be well. And then I kind of hodgepodge that recipe. I bring it upstairs. I'm kind of chaotic when I do it. I'm not going to lie. If you look at my paper, there's notes all over from different angles, and I time myself throughout the whole process too. I'm constantly watching a clock, or I have a timer next to me. And then after that, I try to organize my notes. And then we have an SOP that we create for every class. So standard operation procedure, make sure I got that correctly, that we create for every class. So then I take all that content and plug it in there. And through that document, the idea is, say I was sick for whatever reason, Brian could take that document and execute the class flawlessly with it.
And when we're setting up, we don't have to ask, like, how many spoons do we need? It's like everything is written out so that it makes like the setup and just the class flow a lot easier to manage because there's already so many moving parts.
Yes, she had me here just kind of like hyperventilating because that's the process.
It's a little messy.
Yeah, if you're the chef and you're the one who actually training or putting together a menu, or it starts out as a disaster, and then you slowly subtract and add that stuff, and then you come up with a hopefully a beautiful dish, a tasty dish, something healthy, and you got me going.
After I create the recipe too, I usually hand it over to these guys to try it to just get the final approval taste-wise.
That's usually a good day in the office.
I'm jealous. I'm gonna be back there in the corner, hiding in the bushes somewhere, hiding behind one of them big plants in the lobby, waiting on it to get done. So a lot of this information and the things that we're talking about today can be found on the website, right? Online. Of course, nothing's better than actually being there physically, in person, getting it done. Nothing ever beats that. But a lot of this information is online, right?
Yeah. Our class schedule's online. But we're also like, if there's anyone out there listening who wants to connect with us, like find us, reach out. We're happy to share everything that we've learned, all the lessons that, have come through the few years of doing this in a museum setting. There aren't a lot of organizations, museums at least, that have teaching kitchens. So we have a lot to share. So if there's anyone who's interested in that, like that, those resources wouldn't be on the website, but we'd be happy to share, happy to show people around our studio if there's people out there looking to do something similar.
Okay. So the Museum Center, I'm going to ask a few questions, and this all pertaining to information about the Museum Center and actually how to get in touch with each one of you individually. Megan, how do I get in touch with you?
To get in touch with me, usually email is the best. Do you want me to give you my email on this?
If you want. If not, I understand.
Yeah, but no, it's just mailword@cincymuseum.org, and that's usually the best way to like get in touch if there's thoughts around collaboration or even wanting to get a sneak peek on when the next series is going to go live.
Brian.
Yeah, same. Email's the best. B Pollock, that's POLLOCK, so BPOLLOCK @cincymuseum.org. That's the email. I'm happy to answer anything having to do with the Create Culinary Studio, but also any of our science programs. I also work with a lot of university partners and a lot of our academic partners, and I do trainings on how to talk to people about science. So if anyone has interest in that, also feel free to get a hold of me.
Me?
MCCANDLESS @cincymuseum.org.
The Museum Center website.
CINCY museum.org.
Yes.
Cincy with a Y, museum.
Does the STEM have a research hub?
We have some Create resources on our website. I don't remember the specific address for that. There's a handful of videos from, we were working on this project over our COVID closure, so we created some videos during that time. There's a handful of recipes and things on there as well.
I think if you go to cincymuseum.org and in the search bar, put FoodScience. I think that'll take you to those resources. They're kind of hidden.
Yeah, I mean, I'm learning a lot just by talking to you, and eventually I will pop up and, grab somebody by the, ear and be like, teach me something, show me something. Any upcoming workshops, camps, meetings?
All of the above. We've got camps in the summer. We only do 2 food camps. We've got one in June and one in July, both at the end of the month. And one of those will focus more on food science, while the other week will be more of skill building. And then we've got cooking classes all throughout the months leading up to summer.
Community outreach programs.
Ooh, your fermentation for Earth Day.
Oh, yeah. So on top of our classes, I did want to bring this up earlier. We do pop-up programming here in the museum that maybe if a class feels a little intimidating, you could always come to the museum. They're usually on Saturdays, although sometimes we've changed the date. And it's usually about a 2-hour program where I'm in Create and I'm showing off a method of some sort. So an example would be when we had Julia Childs here, I showed how to make her 30-second omelet in front of people and her method, slid the omelet out and then cut it up and handed out samples for people. So you get to see a technique, you get to try a little tasty bite, and then you get to learn something along the way, whether that's skills, science, history, any of those things. And then you can walk away with a recipe as well. So come April, we are doing an Earth Day celebration where we'll be in here kind of talking about sustainability, ways to stay away from food waste, and I'll be doing a sauerkraut demo. Fermentation is my favorite thing and probably the most expertise I have. So I'll be showing a little trick on how to make sauerkraut, and then we'll have little tasty bites so you can taste it as well.
Is you gonna have is kimchi gonna be anywhere in the mixing time?
Kimchi won't be on that one, but I plan to speak on kimchi as well. We'll talk about all lactoferments during that demo.
Yeah, I'll be hiding in the lobby again behind the plants.
I was gonna say we did have kimchi was the star of our last adult program that we did in partnership with the Osher Center for Integrative Health and Medicine. They send a practitioner to us, and we do this really great program where we're not only cooking a meal together, we have a pretty formal presentation on just the nutrition, and this was in the topic was food and mood, so how ferments can help improve your gut biome, which then improves your overall mood and health. So yeah, it was a really fun program. We like kimchi and all ferments over here.
Sounds great. Location of the CMC Center and hours of operation.
So the Create Culinary Studio is located off the rotunda. It's on sort of the northern side of the rotunda. The hours of operation, it's not really open unless we're doing a program in here. So you'll find our classes on the website, as well as the schedule for our sort of pop-up programs. And then Cincinnati Museum Center is open 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. 7 days a week.
I want to thank you guys for attending this segment. I'm honored to have you here to be able to get you to talk, and just get you out in front of more people. With that, we're going to sign off. But big thanks to Brian Pollock, Megan Elward, and Aaron McCandless from Cincinnati Museum Center for showing us that STEM isn't just labs and equations. It's curiosity, creativity, and science behind every bite we eat. When we teach kids how the world works, we empower them to shape it, stay curious, stay hungry, and keep questioning everything food. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope to see you guys soon. I'll be reaching out, and if you ever need my help, I'm here.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Thank you for the warm introduction and the welcome onto your show. And
I messed the introduction up. I got to use some science to straighten that part out. Thank you. Really appreciate you. Have a great day.